The HPGs are established and we are alive. How's it going, everyone? I'm your host, Get Good Fox, the commander of Ronin Fox Armored Security. You are in the Fox Republic, and we're going to be playing MechWarrior 5 Mercenaries, not MechWarrior 5 Clans, because we have rejected the LRIS ways of the clans, have returned back to the based Sigma ways of the Inner Sphere. First we were the Chuds, now we have returned to being the Chads. As usual, though, I'm joined by my co-host, Dr. Sheriff Crab. How is it going?
I'm pretty good. I'm just glad it's the weekend, to be honest. It's been a long, old haul, and finally I can get some days to rest and recuperate. How are you keeping?
I got like a lot of stuff to do. Like I've got like a really tight schedule. Like it's like all everything. It's not even both my work is a tight schedule, but so even my entertainment, because like I play a lot of live service games, which means there's time limits. Like the season is ending or the event is ending, and now just everything is ending simultaneously, and I'm just like, oh my god, like the work is piling up. The games are going to become work, but everything is going to become work. That's why I'm a little late on the stream. Like we just recustomized some of your guys' variants. We got some new variants to try out, some old variants that need to be retooled. We'll be sending them into the battle. But yeah, that's going to be the plan today. But yeah, it's going to be rather busy. Anyways, so today what we're going to be doing is we're going to be using more of the viewer variants that you guys suggested. We have a few that we could not previously build that we now can build, including a, I think the Shadowhawk, like I could just look, why guess? Why guess when I can just look?
5M, I want to guess.
So the new mechs are the Shadowhawk 2P. It's going to be Plantmaster's Shadowhawk 2P. We have Moonraven's Shadowhawk 5M. We've got Chubby Demon's Grasshopper 5M. And then we also have Dara's King Crab Kaiju. And then we do have at least one recustomized build. We might have more than one, but at least one. We've got Corgi's the weird one, that weird Corsair. We have recustomized it. And like I said, the rule of the recustomizations is that they still have to inhabit the intent vaguely of the original. So yes, I could obviously just take the Corsair XT1 and just totally change it into something else, but with it, what I chose to do was keep sort of the intent that Corgi had going with it. You'll see it when we get to it. You'll see it when we get to it. I don't know how it's going to perform. I feel it will actually do fairly well. Like, I don't think it's a bad build, but that's what's going to be going on. Since we do have some smaller mechs, I went ahead and chosen this story mission right over here. This story mission seems to be a little on the mid-level side, and I'm hoping that because it's on the mid-level side, we're going to be able to use smaller mechs without worrying about how they're going to perform. Small mechs don't have to perform poorly, but you know, when you use a small mech in a higher level mission, you really want to be like, not just, you don't just want it to be a good build, you want to be familiar with the good build. So even if you were to use a good build, like let's say you were told the Firestarter can do a level 100 mission, that's true. But if you're not familiar with the Firestarter, it doesn't matter if you're using a good build, because you also need to have the know-how to safely operate the Firestarter. So even if some of these builds are good, I'm not personally familiar with them, so like I don't want to risk sending them into an extremely high level battle. Like that's kind of what we're going to be up to. So quick cleanup though, some news before I get into this. So yesterday, I'll go ahead and repeat the news from yesterday. I'll do it real fast though. So we have some stuff that's going on. MechWarrior 5 Clans had its price reduced to $30. If you didn't know that. Yeah, MechWarrior 5 has a permanent price reduction. It's not a discount. It's just permanently going to be $30. So if there's another discount, it'll be even cheaper. MechWarrior 1 and 2 are now available as Microsoft PC Ultimate Game Pass options. I'll play at least MechWarrior 2. I might even play MechWarrior 1. It's super primitive, though. I've never played it either way, so I don't know. I will be finishing up Doom: The Dark Ages on Twitch probably tomorrow. I'm going to push through the ending of it. And the Marauder has been chosen as the Heavy Mech guide, my next in-depth guide. And then for more streaming stuff, since Doom is going to be beaten very, very soon, I'll be playing Deltarune. Deltarune Chapter 3 and 4 early in July, or June rather, not July, early June, and then I'll be playing Stellar Blade about halfway into June when those come out. I have no idea what I'm doing afterwards, but that is all for the news. Let's go ahead and get into it though. So this is Lyran Independence. This is, like I said, it's kind of a mid-level mission, so it should be really good for... Oh, it's higher level than I thought. Level 70? Yeah, I can make that work. I can make it work. So this is for the Lyran Independence, and we're just going to go in. This is a defense mission, I think. Even that makes it even safer to use. Let me double check. Yes, this is a defense mission. So because it's a defense mission, I'm going to go ahead and use. I'm going to go ahead and use some of these other mechs. We've got this one here. I didn't rename it apparently. Let me go ahead and rename this mech. So this is the Plant Master Custom. All right, so what we have here is the Shadowhawk 1P Plant Master Custom. The reason I couldn't make this sooner, even though it doesn't use Lost Tag, is because we just didn't have a medium mace. It calls for a medium mace, and then it also has an AC5 burst fire. It has a SRM4, and it is, I think, fully armored. Effectively full armor, and it's got a pretty healthy amount of ammo. My prediction is that this should be a perfectly good mech. It's actually very similar to the mech that I proposed, which had an SRM6 and an SRM4, so you're just trading one of the SRM6s for a medium mace. That's probably worth it for such a fast mech, too. I think I would trade an SRM6 for a medium mace. The medium mace, this tier 1 medium mace, does 50 damage on hit, so that's pretty nasty. Pretty nasty.
Yeah, it's nice.
So let's go ahead and give that one a try. What are you going to try, Doctor?
The other Shadowhawk is not ready, so I might
let
bring...
me see if I can cheat some time. Let me just assign you some stuff, and maybe I can cheat
But
some
then
time out.
I can bring the Shadowhawk then.
Yeah, okay. I just cheated some time out,
Is that one
which
ready?
means I will use the Plant Master.
Okay, then I will bring the 5M. I guess that's the... Whose is this one?
That is, I think it's Moonraven's. Did I not name it? I think I might have.
You did, yes. No, the names don't come up for me for some reason.
The name went away from me actually as well.
No, right. I don't ever see the names for some reason.
It's just buggy. It doesn't save the names very. It does and doesn't save the names.
It's kind of dumb.
I don't know why it does that, but yeah, some of them have their names. Yeah, actually, it took a lot of their names away. It's on a case-by-case basis. It's just it doesn't work as intended. That's the important part. Let's go ahead and throw some other mechs in here. Let's do, I don't know, this and this. There we go. I mean, hopefully they don't get destroyed, so I don't lose the Gauss rifles. Yeah, maybe I don't want to lose the Gauss rifles actually. We have so many mechs that actually have decent equipment that I wouldn't want them to get destroyed.
Marauder 4A has only got 3 tier 1 binary lasers.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, let's do that. Good call. All right, here we go. First mission of the day. We're going to be taking I'm going to be in Plant Master's Shadowhawk, and the Sheriff is in Moonraven's Shadowhawk. And then we will swap. I'll use Moonraven's Shadowhawk, and he'll use the Plant Master Shadowhawk. Also, down in the chat, Moonraven is here. That's actually his mech right there, with the color scheme and everything. Good. He gave me the hex code, so it was easy to pick it. Raphael and Okin's Oni, welcome to the show.
This is not too dissimilar to the build, but I had done all of mine was basically just a Lost Tech version.
Just shoot anything that comes at us.
I don't remember what is it equipped with.
It has an AC5 burst fire, an LRM-20, an SRM 4 stream, and a medium laser. No, I'll tell you one thing. You've lost me with the 5 weapon groups, but aside from that...
it has 5 weapon groups?
Technically it's 5 weapon groups, so I need to remember to press 5 when I want to punch.
New target, rifleman.
Yeah, I tend to not like it when mechs have more than 4 weapon groups, and even then I really like 3. 3 is kind of the magic number.
3 is beautiful, yeah, I love 3.
But 4 I can live with. 5, I mean, I'm not saying I can't make. I could make 6 work if I had to, but I typically just don't want to. All right, so I guess our first victim is going to be this rifleman over here. Wow, our allies actually cooked them up a little bit there. That's not bad. He overheated. Got him with the mace. I mean, I overheated. That was a terrible mistake. I need to redo my weapon groups, actually. Let me go ahead and do that. So I like to have... Normally, I don't like melee to be my... Normally, I don't like melee as my my weapon group 1, unless I'm using a dedicated melee weapon.
Centurion. Target acquired.
We found a Warhammer. Interesting.
We'll go. Focusing fire. Wow.
And we also have a Centurion. So what I'm going to do is... No, the Warhammer's way closer. So the Warhammer doesn't notice me. I'm going to let them kind of open fire on it, kind of get its attention. And what I'm going to do is sneak up on them like this. And just let them have it with everything. Oh, I was just out of range. There we go. I love that, like, baseball bat sound it makes when you hit them with it.
Enemy mech destroyed.
I saw the binary lasers on him. That was pretty good, actually. Like, what are my pilots trying to, like, impress me?
You just chopped his arm off.
So they're really ignoring this mech. That's amazing. That's really what you want. You really want a melee mech to go unnoticed. That's great news.
Is pulling in more hostiles from the surrounding area.
Another thing that's nice about this mech is that it does have a battle fist, not a hand actuator. And because it's got that battle fist, that does mean that it gets a little bit of extra damage on the house. Like, you don't even need to modify for it or anything.
Actually, if you put like medium knuckles on, they only have 22 damage, so you'll actually do less damage if you have weak medium knuckles on.
Yeah. If you
Oh
put on-
wow, stalkers, king crabs.
Big drop. Hold on a second, we're gonna
Facilities
regroup.
is minor at the moment, Commander, but we cannot allow such damage to cascade. Do what you can to draw the enemies away
That's a
from here.
nasty lance they just dropped in.
2 stalkers and a king crab, I think it was.
Shadow Rex says, greeting from the planet Pluto. Didn't Pluto technically get reclassified? I mean, I don't really care either way. Like, some people say it's a planetoid. Some people say it's a dwarf planet. I don't know. I don't know how you go from one classification to the next, but
Something to do with the size, but honestly, it's a big, massive rock that moderately resembles a planet. It's basically a planet. Like, let's come on, guys.
normally when I think of Pluto, I think of that stupid dog.
Oh yeah, the dog.
You know, what's his name's
From,
dog? It's Mickey's dog.
Mickey?
Mickey's dog. Mickey
Mickey
Mouse's
Mouse,
dog.
yeah.
Damn, they're actually working the base up.
Target
The good
We're
news.
even
The good news is that they have separated a little bit by
I'm
assault
just
mech
firing.
standards. Yeah. I mean, we'll sneak in there and get him. He doesn't see me, so I'm gonna sneak behind him.
I've blown the
Someone
fuel
headshot
tank.
him.
So I saw that.
This location
I don't
I think it
think
was the binary lizards.
did somebody might headshot. That stalker. I don't think we've ever headshot a stalker.
need to keep their attention on us and not their objective.
I'll be honest, I'm not going for it. I'm just laying waste.
destroyed.
I've actually just got an armor breach.
All right, we got him. Fortunately, the walls blocked their gunfire on me.
Fire.
King crab.
All right, I'm gonna try to get these tanks real fast.
Target destroyed.
Just get them out of here real quick before they cause any problems.
Target destroyed.
Okay, he doesn't see. One of them sees
Target
me.
received.
I'm gonna retreat.
Okay, they're after me.
Okay, yeah, they're off of me. I'm gonna go for the stalker. I missed. He doesn't see me because he's a idiot. I'm only like right behind you, whooping your ass. That's fine, I got him, he's out. So you see that? Even though I was fighting him by myself,
They really are gunning for
with
you,
all
Commander.
three of them attacking the king crab, I was still able to destroy that stalker faster. And that's what people don't get about these mechs like the Shadowhawk. They're like, oh, the Shadowhawk lacks the firepower, or the Shadowhawk this or that. Let me tell you, the Shadowhawk attacking from behind is going to do way more damage than most mechs can do through the front. That's really the key.
The rifleman, and what we got, King Crab and an Orion. Okay, let's get them first.
So he's on me. I'm just gonna like ignore him now. I'm just gonna like move to a different location, and then I'm just gonna loop around and attack him again.
Target
Got some
acquired.
pretty good damage on that king crab.
The Orion's, I mean, it is in bad shape. Is he ready to fall as well?
So right there, I was able to take out that king crab faster than that Orion went down, once again by using flanking attacks, which is really, once again, that's how you want to use a mech like a Shadowhawk against a bigger target. You can get really good results if you go through the back door. You know, got to give them the back shots. Looks like his legs are pretty beat up, so I'm just going to knock his legs out.
Good work. That's the last of the attackers. The free sky
Damaku,
movement is
welcome to the
critical,
show.
I'm sure.
Yeah, so this mech did what I thought it would do. It's very similar to what I might have built in the first place. In fact, it might be exactly what I would have built in the first place. So this version of the Shadowhawk did just fine. Like, there were no questions about. I think the build just on screen spoke for itself. Like, I think it did just fine. Like, I don't think there, you know, I think it. When we cleaned house on a stalker, we cleaned house on a king crab. So that was really nice overall. So pretty happy, pretty satisfied with it. The yeah, just melee is really good. And it may not be immediately good because there is a greater amount of familiarity that you need to gain with melee. You know, you need to spend more time getting the feel for it. But if you can do that, if you can get the feel for melee, then it's really, really good. I was originally rather skeptical of it. That's the funny thing. It was actually the sheriff who embraced melee immediately. I'm not sure if you were like just doing it for the lulz or not, or if you actually thought melee was going to be good. But either way, regardless of the motivation, you were the first to embrace melee. I was like, you know, I'm like, interesting idea, but I just can't see melee being that good. But it turned out that it didn't really matter what I thought that I saw. You know, sometimes what you think is or isn't going to be good doesn't even matter, and that was the case with melee.
Yeah, when I was first using melee, it was kind of like half troll, half serious, because like when you look at the damage the weapons did, and I think the first thing I looked at was like the assault longsword, not longsword, the claymore, and it's like 60 damage. Like 60 damage, that doesn't even sound like that could be right. So I took the Banshee 2P, the original one, if you remember from maybe 4 or 5 series ago, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna try this guy out, and I tried it out, and I was like, that is just freaky, is what that is.
Yeah, and it turned out to be really good. All right, I'm just going to swap our mechs around, and because this is the same quest chain. Hopefully they don't send as nasty as stuff this time around, but this is an objective raid, so we will need to go a little bit slower. Let me go ahead and look at my weapon groups real fast. I always forget to mess with that.
Hey, Damaku.
Oh yeah, I see. This is one where you have basically 5 different weapon groups on it. Interesting. You know, like I said, it's not my preference. Like, I don't like a whole lot of weapon groups, but I mean, I don't mind having a few extras in case I want a group in a chain fire. But even then, like, you know, I tend to not prefer a whole lot of weapon groups. But that doesn't mean that it can't be good. You know, it just depends on your comfort levels or your familiarity. Like, if I use 6 weapon groups all the time, then I'm sure I would eventually get used to it.
Yeah, and it's a pretty functional mech. It does a little bit of everything. You know what I mean? It's quite robust.
Okay, so this is...
Doing so should throw a
Let's go
wrench in
north.
their operations.
This one looks
With the
visible.
freeze-throwing movement one step
So this
closer
is
to
the
independence.
Moonraven Shadowhawk 5M. 5M, I believe, is just a very Lost Tech enhanced version of the original Shadowhawk.
Nearly there, Commander.
With the much larger LRM launcher, this is definitely going to be more of a fire support skirmisher, or a skirmisher that's leaning towards the role of fire support.
My
Though-
sound seems to have glitched.
New
I don't have
we
any.
got an enemy. What happened?
No big deal. My sound's a bit glitchy, I think.
Focus engagement on lead's target.
So this, I'm probably going to
Nice.
handle this a little bit like when I'm using a dragon,
target
because
acquired.
the weapon setups are pretty similar.
Good kill, Commander.
Okay, we got him.
About to go critical.
Target
Tango down.
You're getting used to like where that laser is. That's going to take a moment to get used to.
destroyed.
Well, there's just a loot crate back there. I'll go run and grab it.
Okay, so the most important thing is that we don't outpace our heavy or our assault mechs, because that's definitely a realistic thing. I hear helicopters.
Target
I don't hear
acquired.
anything. My sound is like very much broken for some
Oh,
reason.
do you have like your sounds glitched up?
Yeah, I can't hear anything. I can just hear like Brianna talking really quietly in the background. I'll just restart the game after this mission probably.
Do you want to go south or north?
I don't really mind. We can probably go south and then cut off through the middle.
that's
I
fine.
think.
Let's go south then. All right, this is going to be a little bit of a walk, so let me go ahead and get my talking points pulled up, because unfortunately, I don't want to outpace the King Crab or the Marauder 2. Yeah, I'll do the news again real fast. So for everyone just now tuning in, remember that MechWarrior 5 Clans has been reduced to $30, down from $50. That is a permanent price reduction. It is not a discount. It's a new baseline price. So it's now equally as expensive as MechWarrior 5 Mercenaries. That's kind of funny. So that means Mercs has held its value. Like, Mercs is like, what, 5 years old and it still maintains its value?
It sold 2 million units, so it's not like it's. I mean, people are clearly still buying the game.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely think that Mercs is the superior option. Like, I don't think there's any doubt about that.
my
So
sound is
also,
back.
MechWarrior 1 and 2 are on the PC Ultimate Game Pass for Microsoft. I subscribe to that just because, you know, I'm a content creator, so
acquired.
it's actually quite handy to be able to play a variety of games on Twitch without having to, you know, pay the full price, especially because a lot of them I would never intend to play a second time.
Broken.
It's like a one and done kind of thing. All right, I'm accelerating to attack speed.
Jet target identified.
Oh,
Target destroyed.
Definitely not ignoring me as much as they ignored you. I don't know if maybe I'm going a little bit too gun ho, perhaps.
it's possible.
Target
We also might be outpacing our allies a little bit because, you know, like, they're supposed to be the inherently higher,
Yeah,
the
true.
seeming higher threat.
Target destroyed. Target
Lots
acquired.
of loose helicopters and stuff I'm noticing.
Scratch that target off the list.
What is shooting me?
Package acquired.
Target
So
destroyed.
over here we got a
Target
Scorpion. Let me
acquired.
just... I don't have a full 2 tons of ammo for this autocannon, so I'm trying to be a little more cautious with it. I hear more helicopters.
Target acquired.
Big ones as well.
He survived that LRM-20. Get out of here. Oh, he's in the elite. Okay, never mind. That's a little more reasonable.
Target acquired. Target destroyed.
Okay, moving on. We do have a mech.
Griffin.
Target received. Engaging.
The binary laser's so cool when you hear it firing behind you.
Yeah, it's got that buzzing, sizzling sound. So
If you find the acquisition, just walk up to it in
Or
order
good.
to pick it up.
I probably should not have like lit up my ally like that, but you know that's fine. You know, I'm sure it'll be okay.
Target destroyed. Target acquired. Target destroyed. Target destroyed.
Say we got a
Excellent find,
Phoenix
Commander.
Hawk.
Beginning recovery now.
Near target Phoenix Hawk.
I think I'd like a rapid fire on this.
On I think it's. Oh, is that what you would want to put on it?
Yeah, I think it might be nicer.
Target
A
acquired.
little bit more just punch.
Yeah,
Nothing
I
wrong with
mean,
the burst fire, don't get me wrong, but I just think the rapid fire would be a little bit more aggressive.
That is true. We'd have to see what we could do to accommodate it because it would need a little more ammo.
I mean, this thing is very functional. Like, there's absolutely nothing wrong with it at all. Want to go around the outside, or shall we go? Yeah, let's go around the outside. It's quicker, actually.
Yeah, unfortunately, there doesn't look like a way through that ice mountain. Nessie, welcome to the show. If you guys want to submit a build, feel free to submit a build. I will take a look at your builds. But yeah, so MechWarrior 5 clans down to $30. Let's go ahead and do our first. Oh yeah. Quick news again for the channel for everyone just now tuning in. So I am choosing the Marauder. I had like a small vote on what mech should be done next. And Marauder it is. So Marauder will be the heavy mech of choice. I'm gonna try to beat Doom Dark Ages tomorrow. I got like 3 or 4 chapters remaining, so I'm gonna try to plow through that because Deltarune, I will be doing a playthrough of Deltarune chapter 3 and 4, maybe an entire Deltarune. Maybe I'll redo chapter 1 and 2. In June. Stellar Blade later in June, like about halfway into June, the Stellar Blade PC port. And then I may also do a MechWarrior 2 and a MechWarrior 1 playthrough because MechWarrior 1 and 2 is on the PC Game Pass. Let's go ahead into the community questions though. The first one, and this is one that I don't have a problem talking about this one. I'll talk about this one for days. Is the question comes from no user here. And this is from Reddit, by the way. What is your honest opinion of MechWarrior 5 Mercenaries? Would you recommend it to someone who is new to BattleTech? So that's kind of like 2 separate questions. Let me go ahead and tackle the first one. Now, you too, chat, if you guys have a what your honest opinion is of MechWarrior 5 Mercenaries. I have no problem starting things out, though. I'm going to go out and say I think MechWarrior 5 Mercenaries is the best game in the MechWarrior series. Now, I know a lot of MechWarriors are not going to want to hear that because, yes, there are MechWarrior games that they might have a more handcrafted experience, like maybe their toolmanship is better proportionately, but I don't play any of those games as much as MechWarrior 5 Mercenaries does. Like, and that's just the fact of the matter. I just do not play those games. I would play MechWarrior 5 Mercenaries more than all of the other MechWarrior games combined, basically. Like, it's not even a contest either, and that's because it just has more replayability. And the old MechWarrior games, they don't, because that's how they're set up the same way Clans is set up. Like, they just don't have replayability. If I were to go back, because like that's how I played MechWarrior 4, for example. If you were to go get the MechTech re-release, which is it is not a piracy thing either. Microsoft allowed them to re-release the MechTech game, which is a MechWarrior 4, a modded MechWarrior 4 basically. It's MechWarrior 4 Mercenaries plus a bunch of mods. You can absolutely do that. It's not considered piracy because Microsoft gave them the okay, and
We're on your target, Commander.
it's the same game. It's like, I mean, not with the mods. With the mods, it's not the same game, but it is MechWarrior 4 Mercenaries, and it is not. You know, it's like, oh, you played it once, you played it twice, and if you go back and you play it again, it will be the same experience again. because they don't have procedural generation. There's nothing random about it. Like yesterday, we did not yesterday, 2 days ago, we did MechWarrior 5, and it was a weird one because it was like Rifleman City. Like for some reason, just entire lances of riflemen for days, and I can't tell you why. It's just the way the game decided to do it. You know, you want some like riflemen, and that's the answer. I guess was yes. So that's an example of it was just weird. It was just you'll never get that out of you will not get that out of previous MechWarrior games because the enemies are always the same.
And even if it does happen in one of the other games, because it's bespoke, it just feels forced. Like it feels like fake humor in a way. Yeah,
it can. Like they can. Like I'm not saying you couldn't be surprised either. Like you could definitely get surprised by some enemies, but it's only going to surprise you that one time. Once it's up, it's up. It's done.
Target destroyed.
So, I don't know. I think MechWarrior 5 is the best game of the MechWarrior series. The only game that might potentially have better replayability is MechWarrior Online. I kind of count that separately, though, because, it is a PvP game, and a lot of people, they may not be invested in the player versus player aspect or the progression system in that, which is it's a very different. It's it's a multiplayer progression system, so much slower, much more microtransaction based. So people might not enjoy that compared to a single player MechWarrior game. So I won't count MechWarrior Online.
Target destroyed.
But otherwise, I would say without a doubt, yeah, it's because he's a stupid Shadowhawk. Like Shadowhawks take so much effort to bring down. But yeah, that's what I think about it. Even though I know some people will be like, damn it, MechWarrior 5 Mercenaries is not the best of the series. Let's see what people have to say about that. Moonraven says, MechWarrior 5 Mercenaries is good for first... Oh, that's the second question. So, I'll tackle him in second one. So, I'll read Moonraven's comment when we talk about the second part. So, let's continue discussing the first element of it, though. So, what are your honest opinions about MechWarrior 5 Mercenaries, Doctor?
I mean, I've got 1,000 hours in it, over 1,000 hours, nearly 1,100 hours in it, so I obviously really like the game. The only game I've got more hours in it is Counter-Strike 2, and I've got 3,500 hours in that, and MechWarrior is the only other, it's the second highest game basically I've got, so I love the game. Now, as the question being, is it the best MechWarrior game? I don't really know, because I've only played 2 MechWarrior games, which is Clans and Mercs. And that
makes
being
you
MechWarrior 5
uniquely good at answering the second part of the question. But
yes.
let's stay on the first part still.
But to answer that, on my survey of 2 MechWarrior games, yes, it's the best of the 2 by a landslide for all the reasons you mentioned. Replayability. Personally, I don't like games that I only get like 40 hours of. I don't really like feeling ripped off, to be honest with you. I don't like lateral story games, and I feel like Clans probably would have been a phenomenal game had it been like 2005. And I think that's what probably makes Mercs so good, and why PGI deserves so much credit for it, is because they took the MechWarrior formula and basically modernized it into something that was viable in the 2010s. I suppose it came out in 2010s, but even the 2020s. So it's basically a modernized version, I guess, in that respect. So that's why I find it really odd that they took a back step and went back to the olden days, the formula that basically allowed MechWarrior to go defunct. So yeah, to me it's got to be the best one, right? I mean, the number of hours that people have played in it, the number of sales, 2 million sales, it's bound to be up there with one of the most highest grossing MechWarrior games of all time. So those are just some facts.
Yeah, I think that it's definitely really good. In addition to that, I believe didn't your brother also give it a try?
Yep, he's got to go.
And that he's never played a MechWarrior game either, right?
No, he's never played a MechWarrior game either. No, that's right.
So,
he's got 95 hours. There you go, 95 hours.
And you know, for someone who is just curious about it, that's actually fantastic numbers for someone who's just kind of curious. Like, it's definitely not the main game or anything. And I think that leads right into the second part of the question: is it good for someone who's new to BattleTech? Let me answer that in just a moment, though. Let me go ahead and talk about the mechs that we just used. So, I just used we both just used the Plant Master custom. I don't think there's a whole lot to say about it, though. It just works. It's just a it just works. Like, I think that's, you know,
Yep.
it's a mech that moves quickly and has a huge melee weapon. It's going to be really tough to not be able to do pretty well with it. And the support weapons are decent. And yeah, you know, maybe either an LBX AC-10 or a rapid fire could be interesting on it. Like, you know, there's definitely, now that we have Lost Tech, there's different directions that we could go with it. Could be worth trying. The Moonraven custom reminds me a lot of a dragon. It's essentially a scaled up version of it basically is a Shadowhawk 2H, but scaled up because it has a single medium laser, just like the Shadowhawk. It has the AC-5, just like the Shadowhawk 2H. It's got an SRM-4, which has been upscaled by, you know, one more pod. It's up to a 4-pack instead of a 2-pack. And then the LRM has been upgraded from like a 5-rack into a 20-rack. So it basically is the Shadowhawk 2H, but just scaled up higher. And overall, it definitely works. Like, my issues with it is just definitely a personal preference thing. I just don't like so many different weapons, just because I have trouble keeping track of all of the ranges and all of the firing speeds. And I also don't use the back weapon groups enough to have the muscle memory to attack the weapons as accurately. Now, you could say, is it that like a skill issue? And the answer is yes. If I used all 6 weapon groups on a regular basis, then that would be less of an issue. But it also is true that the more weapon groups you have, it just requires more. The more skill something requires, the greater the room for error. Even if if something is higher skill, it doesn't necessarily make it better. It could be better. It might have a high skill ceiling, so it's like very effective. But simplicity tends to give you consistency. So, like, just because something is more complicated doesn't necessarily mean that it's better. And that's part of the reason why I don't push for like 5 or 6 different weapon groups, because I tend to find it's unnecessary. And so, like, it's kind of ambidexterity. Like, yeah, could you start writing with both of your hands and develop like muscle coordination with both hands? You could, but how important is it? I don't know. Maybe you'll get in some wacky situation where it is important. But generally speaking, I tend to find that I don't need more than 4 weapon groups, and usually the 4th group is my melee. So really it's 3 weapon groups, but that's just my personal preference. What did you feel about the mechs, Doctor?
Yeah, I really like the Shadowhawk 1P. It's a mech I've used before. I really like Shadowhawks. There's something about them, I just really like them. They're really cool. They just look cool. They are cool. And the only way you can probably make a Shadowhawk look cooler is just give it a big, massive melee weapon. Yeah, I think the only critique I have of it is possibly the AC-5 burst fire. I would prefer a rapid fire on it for the reason that I just find myself chasing mechs down a lot, and I don't like chasing mechs with the AC-5. I like chasing them with something that shoots a bit faster, so like like an AC-2 or the AC-5 rapid fire. Conversely, on the Shadowhawk 5M, I think the AC-5 burst fire suits it really well because it kind of wants to play at about 400 meters, so you can kind of use all the weapons. So I think the AC-5 burst fire works really well there. I actually like it more than I thought it would. I looked at it at the start and I was like, this is a bit of a mess. I don't really know what to do with it or where to start. But it's got enough firepower at long range, like an AC-5 burst fire and LRM-20, perfectly fine at long range. And then when you get into that sort of 300 meter range, or 300 meters, you can still fire the LRMs. But you get the SRM-4 stream and the medium laser coming in, so it probably does a little bit better than I expected it to do. I wasn't really sure what to think of it at the start, so I guess good job. I mean, the thing is, because it's such a like ambidextrous mech, as you mentioned, I don't really know what to do with it other than maybe just like trimming one of the weapon groups. Would I get rid of the medium lasers? Maybe. And just so I can punch with the 4th button because I don't like 5 buttons. Again, that's definitely a skill issue rather than anything, but that's the only thing that would maybe do for me. But honestly, all in all, I think they're 2 solid 8 out of 10 on the roster mechs. Like, I wouldn't say no to piloting either of those in my own game, to be honest.
Yeah, Yeah, I mean, I think I could probably remove the laser for another ton of ammo, and then you could just hold the trigger down on your weapons.
True.
Like you could just go ham on your guns. Like that's certainly an
Yeah.
option. If you're gonna remove 1 ton of anything, I think the 1 ton that makes more of a difference than anything else is typically 1 ton of ammo. Like 1 ton of ammo is a pretty big deal. So I would use Corgi Custom in the next mission, which is the redesigned one. In fact, let me show you what I did to it real fast. So this is Corgi's Custom, what do you call it, Corsair. And the way he designed it, it was a troll build. And the troll build was every single weapon is different. There are no repeat weapons. Originally, it was all over the place. Machine gun, flamer, light rifle, AC2, AC5, binary laser, flamer, LRM5, Artemis. It literally had a little bit of everything. So I said, okay, you know what? I'm going to kind of cheat a little bit. Technically, none of these weapons are the same. Technically, not a single weapon here is a repeat. So the binary laser was swapped out for a PPCX. The SRM, Streak SRM, and the Artemis SRM4 and the LRM5 were switched out for 2 SRM4s, but one of them is a stream and one of them is a burst. They're technically different. They're not the same thing. I kept the Ultra AC5 because I thought that was a pretty good idea. I kept one of the AC2s, and then I added an AC2 burst fire and an AC2 rapid fire. They're different. They are technically different weapons. They are not the same weapon. You cannot accuse me of using the same weapon. They are all technically different weapons. And then I added 5 double heat sinks. It has an ass ton of ammo. It's got, I think 6 tons of AC2 ammo, and I'm not even sure that's enough. It's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, it's got 6 tons of AC2 ammo, 2 tons of Ultra AC5 ammo, and then 1.5 tons of SRM4 or SRM ammo, period. I dropped one of the lasers and I dropped one of the missiles altogether in order to make more room for space. And then it is heavily up-armored. You got full armor, 10 armor rear, everything to the front. That is the redesign. In fact, I should rename it to the Recustom. This is the Recustom. And that's what I'm going to use.
I was going to use this Annihilator, but I just realized I forgot to change one thing. This mech came with the armor not balanced, so I'm just going to do that now, and then I'll put it on again. And there's so much armor, so many buttons to click. Why can't I just type it in?
Yeah, I don't know why you can't just click just type in the number you're. There's definitely some quality of life. Apparently, you can download a mod that allows you to sell items in bulk, which I would say that's like, why do you need a mod to do that?
Exactly, that should just not be a mod. That's
and
crazy.
It's not just why do you need a mod to do that. It's why is the game like 5 years old and somehow they haven't added that in. Let me go ahead and rename this to the Recustom because this is technically a redesign. Not technically, it just is a redesign. Let me go ahead and let that Annihilator finish.
Nice. All right.
And then also, let me just give it a color scheme. This is Coyote's color scheme. I'm pretty sure he has one. Where's Coyote's color scheme? Here it is. Delta Coyotes, apply. There we go.
I have no idea if Delta Coyote is in the chat or not, but honestly, this thing didn't need much reworking. The only thing I didn't like was the lack of armor. I like max armor on an Annihilator. Any mech that's slow needs armor.
Yeah,
if it's fast,
I hate not having max armor. The only time I don't want max armor is on a mech that's really, really tight on space, and you've got a really good reason to. You need to have because you lose so much. Every ton of armor is so much armor.
Oh, it's a lot of armor.
You lose so much, so you got to have a really good reason to drop the armor.
But let me tell you something. 4 LBX solid slugs, that puts stuff in the ground. I also changed out the medium lasers and the one small laser just for all small pulse lasers because I don't like having mixed lasers personally. I like one or the other. But this mech is, it slapped in the last stream too. So it is basically just the same thing with a slight revamp. I also got rid of a couple of the heat sinks because I didn't think they were even necessary, to be honest. I don't even think the 2 I have on it are necessary, but let's see.
Yeah, I definitely agree that I don't do mixed lasers unless I really don't have an option. Like there's got to be a good reason for me to go mixed lasers.
Me too. I just don't see the point.
Unless it's large. I can do large and medium, large and small because of the
that's
difference in
different.
fire
Yeah,
rate,
that's
but
different. Yeah.
small and medium get on my nerves. So let's move into the second half of that question, though. The second half of the question was, is MechWarrior 5 good for new players? Let me go ahead and read what Moonraven said. MechWarrior 5 Mercs is good for first-timers and veterans alike. It's easy to get in and different starts with random missions, and there's lots of replayability. Yeah, I definitely think... Wait, did I pass by him? Yeah, there he is. Oh, you guys were... Well, it was just a charger, not that big a deal.
Wasted.
Yeah, I definitely think that it's good for new players. Now, the thing is, that doesn't mean that everyone should just buy MechWarrior. It is a rather specific game, and you should consider whether or not MechWarrior is a game that's going to be suited to your interests. Like, you know, you need to be interested in games that have, like, kind of like, you know, you run through these procedurally generated content. You know, you need to make sure that's the kind of game you want to play. You need to make sure that you're, you know, do you like vehicle simulators? Like, do you want to play, like, tank-type games, you know, rolling around in tanks? Do you like games that have, like, a good bit of customization? Because, you know, especially in the beginning of the game, it can be very confusing to understand how to customize a mech until you've done it enough times. So you want to make sure that it is a game that you think you'd be interested in, not more than just a passing interest. And after that, yeah, you know... Then the answer is yes, I would say it is good, and I think some of the good examples would be... I came back to MechWarrior 5 having not played a MechWarrior game in a long time, and I thought that, yeah, it took me a moment to get used to it. But, you know, I got back into the swing of it pretty nicely. And then you've got Dr. Sheriff Crab. That was his first MechWarrior game. And then he also introduced it to his brother, and that was his first MechWarrior game. And also in my own community... people who started out as mainly zombie survival enthusiasts, a lot of them gave it a try, and they wound up liking it too. So, is it a good... I think it has a track record for showing that it is pretty good for new players, and I think there's a few reasons for it. One, some of the things that a veteran player would complain about is that there's not a lot of customization, but I think that actually is what makes it more new player friendly. The fact that you do need to abide by the hardpoint rules. Don't tell me these guys are stuck.
New target, Vulcan.
No, that Banshee is coming, it's just slow.
There's like a medium... Oh, no, he's free. I think he was just derped up for a bit. So, as I was saying, I think that the lack of customization, where it's a little more rigid, one, it's more lore-friendly, which that doesn't bother me. I'm not saying that things need to be perfectly lore accurate. Like, yeah, I do think that there's a thing, such a thing as trading some lore accuracy for fun, but I think that it depicts the lower technology, because I think you should try to sell that the inner sphere is low tech. You know, this is like the grimy loss of technology. You know, the mechs are not as effective as they have been in the past. The clan mechs are so much more versatile, so much more capable, and the way you show that is by having these lower technology battle mechs.
Ooh.
Oh man, did you just like blast his face in twain?
Yeah. I wasn't even aiming for that either, I actually missed the shot. I was aiming on the first chest.
But it has the side effect of also being good for new players, because the customization isn't as overwhelming. I'm just going to send them to destroy that. Once that gets
Oh my
scanned,
goodness, why are these guys landing like a million miles away?
They're going to try to get us to give up by...
Target received.
If we take long enough to get here, they'll give up. Looks like it's a Victor.
New target, Victor.
And a Crusader. But yeah, that's what I think. I think it's definitely a game that is... It's not an easy game, though. I mean, there are things that are less new player friendly. For example, I do think that it is probably the hardest of the MechWarrior games. I mean, I'd have to replay every single one of them. Many of them I haven't even played before, but I would need to play them or replay them in order to answer that. But, oh, you got him. Nice.
No, he's still there.
Oh.
It's lost lot.
Let me see if I can just tap him a few times with one of these many guns. I hit everything except the center torso.
Blasted that one's leg.
This thing just like spits out all of these bullets. You don't even know what you're shooting. It's just like bullet vomit.
Target acquired. Target destroyed.
It is amusing to see all the bullets coming out at like different cadences. I
wouldn't
will
want to
say,
have epilepsy.
it's amusing. Okay, so let me go ahead and pass it off to you. So, like, that's what I think about MechWarrior 5 in regards to, is it a game that's appropriate for new players and returning players? Like I said, you kind of have a unique perspective there, considering that you literally are a new player, or was at one point in time a new player to not just MechWarrior, but to BattleTech in general.
Yes, and I actually do have a slightly more nuanced view on this because, you know, you talk about the gameplay mechanics. Is it suitable to a player that's just, you know, first coming into the game? Absolutely. I mean, that's the short and simple answer is that it's a very fun, very engaging game. It doesn't take, you know, if you're a moderately, you know, good gamer, it doesn't take too long to sort of like get in with the mechanics of the game. But actually, one thing the game does terribly bad for a new player is to get them introduced properly to the lore of BattleTech. If I didn't have you to describe to me, you know, the sort of geopolitical spectrum of the Inner Sphere, I would have been so lost. Like, I would not have had a clue what was going on. I don't think the game even closely comes to describing enough what's going on. It doesn't set the scene terribly well, and that's a story writing issue. And it's an issue that Piranha Games has always had. So that's the only thing I could think of that I would say whenever I first came into this game, that I almost needed Fox as a bespoke guide to the Inner Sphere to try and understand what was going on. Now, if you don't really necessarily care about what's going on, you're not interested in the setting, and you just like shooting things with mechs, then it really is irrelevant. Me, on the other hand, I quite like the set to know the setting of the game I'm playing in. If it's something I don't feel like I'm connected to, I won't play it. So yeah, that would definitely be one thing I would say maybe not so good from the perspective of understanding BattleTech. But the actual, like I said, the gameplay mechanics and all the rest of it, again, it's pulled me into playing 1,000 hours of this game. So it's obviously very good. Like it's obviously an excellent game to start learning to play. My brother's also played, you know, not 1,000 hours, sorry, 100 hours in it, and he typically wouldn't be, you know, that interested in this sort of game. So it probably was a good introduction to him into sort of like vehicle sims as well. So there's kind of that side of it as well.
Yeah, I definitely think the fact that you and your brother, and like I said, for a game of like, I would not normally consider 100 hours to be kind of like casual interest, even though, yeah, your brother just kind of was like, oh yeah, I'll play it, you know, I'll spend some time playing it with the family. Like, it's also interesting that it became kind of like, you know, something of a, you know, loosely family game.
Yeah.
But without a doubt, I think there's definitely something to be said that, like, you know, for this to not be his kind of game, like 100 hours in a game that isn't necessarily your thing, that's very telling, I would say. Very telling.
Target destroyed.
I'm actually out of ammo, so I'm going to do one more change to this mech, which is to drop the last 2 heat sinks and bring another 2 tons of ammo in. And that'll be my final
Awesome.
Yeah,
customization.
this mech is not having any heat issues either, so I may have overdone. I could definitely probably put a bit more ammo, which would make me feel a little safer on it as well, but unfortunately the enemies are very, very tentative. They're very, like, they're not exactly coming at us, like we're forced to come to them, so I kind of wanted to try like gunning the enemies down as they approach, but that just hasn't really been an option.
And I would say the same, by the way, of what I said about, you know, needing a sort of guide to the lower BattleTech to sort of get, I think, the full appreciation of the game, because my brother also received that for me. He had me to sort of like teach them the ropes of what was going on. I obviously don't know it just as anywhere near as great a depth as you do, but I was able to sort of, you know, give him a bit of an understanding of what was going on, and it's necessary. Like, he needed that. It would have been very disorientating not to, and I certainly found it a bit disorientating trying to play this game for the first time without having, you know, yourself to sort of like wade me through what the hell was going on, because it kind of just presents itself as this like silly game where you stomp around in robots, and once you actually get to understand what the lore is about a little bit, then the stomping around in robots actually starts to mean something.
Yeah, that's why
I think anyway.
There's a very common thing that gameplay is the main thing that matters. Like, you know, like the gameplay is the only thing that matters. I mean, obviously you don't want to deliver a game that's dysfunctional, but I think what really separates the legendary games from, like, you know, like, why was Halo a legendary game? I would say it was legendary because it had a very followable story with an interesting characters and interesting villains, and then the gameplay was good. Like, but I think that without the story, like, because like that's what a lot of people are emotionally attached to, the story and it's selling the experience. That's really what it is. Like, the gameplay needs to sell the experience, the story needs to sell the experience, the art style needs to sell the experience. Like, everything needs to sell the fantasy of what you're doing. And that is definitely one of the weaknesses of MechWarrior 5, is that they're not good at selling the kind of rusty, grimy, patched together, you know, dusty inner sphere like that the books are obviously far better at depicting, like, you know, like the ancient, you know, they're talking about these ancient battle mechs that have been, you know, that they had the mechs have survived multiple pilots, and, you know, they're still being repaired and used even now. That is oh, let me get some of these rare
and the idea that mechs were almost like humans, in the sense that whenever they like, say one, you know, experienced a pretty nasty wound, it would almost have a scar across it, and you'd be like, oh, I remember fighting against that mech, you know, 10 years ago. It's got that big, it's that warhammer with the massive big gash on its left torso that was unrepairable. So the mechs almost had like their own personalities, and actually I don't think this game depicts that very well. And I know that's probably a hard thing to depict, but I don't think the mechs just have just as much uniqueness as they should have. And I also think that some of the heavier and assault mechs are a little bit too common, which, to be honest, maybe it would make the game a bit rubbish if you only could find, like, you know, one assault mech every, like, so much time. But and I think you're right. Actually, it's a good point you made a minute or two ago. Sometimes, like, the lore isn't right. Sometimes, not that it's not right, but sometimes it just isn't right for the game, and sometimes you just have to go and do your own thing, because, like, it would suck if that was the case, I think.
Yeah, I mean, you got to make, like, you know, you got to make some compromises in order to make the, you know, I think we're out of cantina missions. Let me go get let me get some cantina missions real fast. Sometimes you got to make some compromise. Like melee, I don't think that, I don't think the swords, I don't think mech swords existed until later on. I don't know for sure, but I don't think the swords, the katanas, existed. But at the same time, it's like, I mean, I don't think it's that big of a deal. Same with, like, the hero variants. Like, many of the hero variants, okay, we did it. Collect an Atlas, kill a battle master. Yeah, let's collect the Atlas, because Atlas is a relatively common assault mech, and
we don't need it either.
Yeah, we don't need them. So let's go. Let's try to hunt the some mercs down. Like, we've got the thumpers nearby, and they're a pretty high level merc. But
okay.
yeah, I definitely think the story is important, and I mean, I think Piranha Games understands that was their weakness. I feel like it's still their weakness. Like, have they tried harder? They have. Have they done better? I guess. I don't know if it's worth what they've done. I think it's just a skill issue, to be honest. Simply put, like, that's all I can say. I think it's just a skill issue there, that they're just not really, they just don't know how to tell an interesting story. Maybe it's hard to tell an interesting story. I mean, I don't want to give them too much credit, like, I don't want to give them too much credit on, like, because, like, here's the thing. Hold on, let's debrief or do a briefing real fast. So this is Misdirect Assault ×4 multi-op. The Thumpers are here. They may or may not interfere across these 4 missions. The missions are a Scorched Earth, an Assassination, an Objective Raid, and then a Beachhead. Difficulty 83.
Breach.
So it is. This one's going to pay out pretty nicely. I'm pretty interested in this particular mission, and it's Merrick versus Fedcom. So we're back to squishing the correct people for a change.
Yeah, I feel like we haven't been beating up the Fedcom for a while. I don't think they hate us enough yet, actually.
No,
in a weird way.
No, they still sell me stuff.
That's crazy.
If they sell me stuff, then I'm not doing my job. Okay, unlimited drop weight, so we're good here.
Right, I am going to bring the kaiju, I think.
Oh, you're gonna try out the kaiju. I will try out. Wait, let me see. What is this?
This is not a mech I would build, so this will be very
Scorched
interesting
Earth.
to see how this goes.
Okay, I will use. Let me look at what mechs we need to use. I need to use the Grasshopper 5M. I'll use the Grasshopper 5M.
You use the Grasshopper 5M. There's also the Basilisk, which might be quite good for the beachhead, actually.
That's a good point. Yeah, a good point. Let me just send them in some decently large stuff.
Hi Dara, literally you have just came at the right time. I'm about to test the kaiju out right now. It has not been used yet.
Oh, Dara just made. Okay, yeah. So the kaiju is about to go into action, and I'm about to use Chubby's. I should look at the mechs, shouldn't I? I'll quickly show you what we're dealing with here. So this is Chubby Demon's Grasshopper 5M. It has a heavy hammer and a heavy arena fist, and then it's got 5 medium laser short bursts and a bunch of heat sinks. So that is what
sounds
we
like
got.
a very good mech.
Yeah, it sounds like we got some interesting stuff going on this one. Let me
Yeah,
go
I like
ahead
this one.
and name it properly. Like it was supposed to be the Chubby custom. Chubby.
I really like the sound of that.
And then also, I don't need to repaint it. Like he didn't give me a color scheme, so that's fine. All right, in we go.
There's just certain builds when I see them, I'm like, that's like something I would build. Like this kaiju, Dara, I wouldn't build this kaiju. I don't know why. Maybe I just don't even like energy weapons or something. But this thing with a hammer and a bunch of lasers, it's so simple. It's impossible to do bad with it, I feel.
Oh shoot, I gotta redo my weapon groups.
Although I don't doubt that this thing is going to put stuff in the dirt if I can get close enough to it.
Yeah, the real question with that one is how effective will you be at reaching the enemies?
Yeah, true.
Because like, the thing about PPCX is it's basically like a shotgun that has a very wide spread. It's not really like LBX. The only similarity is that they have a shotgun like barrage, but LBX is way tighter on the spread, so you can get a little more range out of it. Whereas the PPCX has very wild spread, like a sawn-off shotgun basically. So
Yeah.
you have to get a lot closer. And of course, Rihanna drops us like basically 3 kilometers away. What
Have we got anything else to talk about?
What is even the point of being dropped 3 kilometers away from the objective?
I don't know. Do you know what so we have more things to talk about on Reddit? That's what it
That
is.
is true. That's more stuff. In fact, let me go take a look. Yeah, we were talking about some of the strengths and weaknesses of...
No, we got attacked!
Oh, God. Wasn't very nice.
Okay, I fixed it.
Target acquired.
I guess at least they included an enemy along the way.
Yes, those 3 tanks are exactly what we needed to be placed 3,000 meters away for.
Target acquired.
Oh, 4 tanks. I take it back. It was completely worthwhile.
Target destroyed.
And of all things, it was an SRM carrier.
Yeah, Dar, you're right. In urban combat, this thing would be a bit of a slayer, I think. I mean, it'll probably be good here. We're gonna walk. I mean, this is the sort of mission that this mech will do good in. You're going into a base, and you're just gonna smash up stuff in a base. I mean, honestly, I don't think this will do bad. Whatever garrison's there is gonna get laid out, I think.
Yeah, it's like I don't know how they should have done the story but like I definitely think that they didn't do it well. I don't know how they would have done it differently. I mean, I have played a variety of games that have told a story through because it's like, how do you tell a story in a game that has like procedural, like you just kind of like grind up these procedurally generated missions. The thing is, I have played some games that what they do is they have procedurally generated missions, but then when it's time to tell a story, they have like the designated story missions. And so basically it's almost more like the way they do the expansions in
Yes.
in MechWarrior 5,
MechWarrior.
how you're doing missions. Oh, it's time for the Kestrel Lancers. Missions. Oh, it's time for what comes after Kestrel Lancers?
Rise of
the
Rasselhag.
Ronin War. Yeah, Rise of Rasselhag. Missions, Dragon's Gambit, missions, and then you do Solaris Showdown. That's probably... I mean, I think that they should have gotten rid of... I think their side missions kind of stink. I mean, it probably doesn't matter either way. I think they just...
There's too many of them.
They're definitely not really worth reading. Like, you don't really get a lot of interesting lore or anything out of that.
Target acquired.
So it's like, I don't know. They get tired. They get tiresome as well, like the side missions.
Unidentified battle mechs. You are entering
Oh, I gotta get a little closer.
Target destroyed.
Oh, sounds like they're mad.
I mean, BattleTech's a good example. BattleTech does it where it's procedurally generated. Well, generally, it's not completely procedurally generated. There is some structure to the missions, but you know, and you have a bespoke storyline. But the thing is, the story's good, whereas the story in
That's true.
MechWarrior 5 is just my dad died. Cry, cry, cry. I need to get revenge. That's just boring. It's been done a million times, and I don't really want to hear it again.
Not to mention, like, you never even get to know your dad. You're just like, my dad
He's some
died. I'm like,
faceless
okay.
dude.
Yeah, it's just kind of like, I guess, I mean, I guess I'm supposed to care about this. I don't care about this, but...
Target destroyed.
Oh, is he down? Jeez.
Yeah, I just blasted him there.
Target destroyed.
Well, we're just running in here and, like, railing these guys, running a train on these guys right now. And a Black Knight?
Target
Wow.
destroyed.
There's no doubt that when you get behind them, this thing is hot. There's no doubt that when you get behind them, it'll do damage, but this thing is really spicy.
Good kill, Commander.
Gave him the bop.
Taking out a fuel tank.
Come on. Okay, about to say, you guys can take a tank out. It's not even a thing. I'm gonna have them take out that SRM tank. I'm not going to.
I have a feeling this is going to be one of these really healthy bases.
Enemy destroyed.
Oh my god. These tanks.
Target destroyed.
You think it's one of these bases where we gotta, like, vaporize, like, every last
Every
atom of it?
molecule.
Keep at it,
Yeah.
everyone.
Well, I'm gonna squish these radio dishes real fast.
No, they normally are pretty good, to be fair.
Yeah, usually worth like 2% each or something. 2 or 3%. Yeah, I mean, like, they definitely... I mean, they have the same problem in Clans. Like, Clans, I think, really emphasizes it, the idea that now they have a lot of time to tell a story. In fact, they have more time to... The whole thing is a story. The problem is that they just don't tell an interesting story.
So, here's something they could have done, and I don't understand why they didn't. So currently working for Catalyst Games, I know Catalyst is not the same as Piranha Games, but at the end of the day, they're still making BattleTech content. I am almost can guarantee that they're in contact with each other, and if they're not, that's
You're
ridiculous.
almost there, Commander.
But
25% of the
some of the guys who
remains.
wrote some of the original books literally work for Catalyst Games. How could they not get in contact with some of them and hire them to write a story? Like, you know, the original writers for the BattleTech series. It just didn't make any sense.
Even as
Like,
like a temporary thing, because you know,
Yeah,
if the game takes like
consultant.
if the game takes like 2 or 3 years, 4 years to make, like, you wouldn't need the writer there for all 4 years. It wouldn't take like the writer 4 years to
Yeah.
do a story.
Acquired.
Or even just as a consultant to sort of like, you know, give advice on what to do. Like, I don't know, I just find that really stupid.
Mission complete, Commander. I
Oh, we
expect
got
our
a.
pilot
Oh,
to be
it's just a
very
charger. Never
satisfied
mind.
with this result.
I was a little bit like, well, we got some company.
Target acquired.
We do have another rifleman though. He has 2 PPCXs.
New
Oh,
target
we got like
central.
almost a full lance coming in now.
Target acquired. Incoming missile.
Let me see if I can get on this rifleman real fast. Here comes the shoe body bop. You don't like it?
Good kill, Commander. That mech is about to
Squishing
get real.
time.
Target destroyed. Target acquired.
You know, I kind of want to try the. I don't know what the fast. What is the fast melee weapon in the heavyweight class? Because I kind of want a faster weapon to match the The arena
Blade, I think.
fist.
Target
Yeah, I might
Trench
need
blade?
to try the trench blade then. I want something that kind of swings at the same speed as the arena fist, because I
be
kind of like
honest-
that rapid swing.
I wonder how 2 arena fists would work. I like 2 arena fists. 2 arena fists feels nice in a lot of mechs.
It,
You got other
it would
dropship.
probably be fine though. The mech doesn't have a lot of hard points is one of the issues. I guess you could bump up the pulse lasers or something, as like
Let's
as
see
a
what-
way to eke out a little more power.
Target acquired.
Shadowhawk and a Wolverine.
I'm just gonna take us out of here because I don't want to lose my arms, which is where all my valuable melee weapons are. And not
Okay, kill
valuable
the
in
Shadowhawk.
price, but valuable in that I don't have a lot of replacements for them.
Shadowhawk dead. The Wolverine very cleverly ran away.
Get out of here.
So that was the Grasshopper 5M. I think most of the melee weapons are pretty good. I think I might include the I want these PPCXs. ER large lasers. There's a lot of good stuff that's salvageable here. What's going on? Small pulse lasers. And I'll take this Black Knight and then I'll roll the rest over. I think this Grasshopper is fine. I think that it doesn't have any heat issues at all, so like we could probably squeeze out a little more firepower out of it, mainly to take advantage of the ambush value when you get behind somebody. You just want to like hit them with everything you've got. That maybe an SRM4, like just a little bit of extra. It might be the difference between just an armor breach and like a complete blowout on a body part. It could be the deciding factor. And like I said, there was just no heat issues on the mech at all. So we could definitely afford to drop some of those heat sinks. And I do wonder how the what do you call it? The trench blade or the faster version of the melee weapon would do as well. So the next mission's an assassination, and it's in an extrasolar moon. Let me see, what other mechs do we need to... What other mechs did you guys create?
I need you to try out the Archer again. That's what I'm going to use.
Okay, yeah, you're going to use the Archer.
So I guess, let me see.
I think... Oh, I need to use the Basilisk. That's one thing I need to use.
The Basilisk is there, yeah. Oh, you need to also use the Annihilator, but I guess that's probably not the best mission for it.
Yeah. I'll use that on like a defensive mission or something. I'm going to use the Basilisk.
Let's go.
Let me just throw some stuff in here. Hopefully they don't like trash our valuable... Hopefully they don't trash our valuable mechs. Like, cause like even some of these basic mechs are equipping decent stuff on them now.
The Basilisk gets pretty badly focused, so I think they'll probably go for you, to be honest.
Yeah, I'll have to like be cautious about it. Give me 1 second.
I quite like the PBCX Kaiju though. It's a little bit hot, but as you say, Dora, it's running single heat sink, so maybe if you go up for some double... I don't even think it's going to need upgrades. I think literally some double heat sinks will be enough. Because whenever you alpha strike with it, it goes straight up to 40 heat. But it's pretty nice. Like, it's pretty nice.
Good chance our targets have split up.
It's as good as you're going to do with large
The more locations on the map,
energy
are the
slots
most
anyway, I think.
likely areas where we'll find them.
At least on this map,
Careful,
the area is
as they
pretty
have
small.
many supporters in the area that are more than willing to die for their cause.
Yeah, I need to adjust my weapon groups.
Target is not here. Let's hope we have
Yeah, I'm going to redo mine. I quite like my melee in
Urban mech.
Group 3.
That's close enough. Ready to start pickup operation.
So this is the Victor Basilisk. It's the one. It's really the one Victor that I do like. Because normally I am not a fan of the Victor. But they're like, I guess they added the Basilisk just because they're like, okay, we need to make sure there's at least one good one.
Target acquired.
And this is in its stock configuration as well. There are a ton of urban mechs everywhere right now.
Looks like we're at the wrong place, Commander. Our target must have given us the slip. Let's check out the other locations.
Of course you did.
Moving in. Okay, he's done. I'm kind of surprised we haven't found anything besides these urban mechs. Dara says, all my builds were for the pre-endgame. Oh, yeah. That explains why he's not using the,
Yeah,
oh, I
think
spotted a... That's a real Banshee. There's a Banshee 3S over there. It's a real Banshee.
There was a Wolfhound over here. Oh, there he is.
Target
Oh, I
acquired.
see him now. I see him now.
Acknowledged.
To be honest, Dara, I think some of these builds, like the binary laser builds, and stuff, they're not possible like Lost Tech. Sometimes I think. I mean, they are. I mean, it literally did work. Like it was a good enough mech, but I just mean for
Target
full optimization. And obviously that's the case when you bring in Lost Tech, it's going to be better. But it's definitely a pretty functional mech. I quite liked it. So you located a Banshee, you say?
Yes, it's over on the northern, one of the northern ones. It's kind of in between them, actually.
Let's get them.
This is a weird mission. This is what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Like, you get these kind of odd missions where it's like, you don't, the procedural generation, it's not completely random. You know, as Sheriff said, the procedural generation in this game and in Battletech, it's not completely random. So, you know, you will see some familiar battles, but it's random enough that, I don't know, sometimes you get some, like, weird stuff that happens. Great, we got a partisan on our left side.
Target received.
I mean, we have seen some really odd missions in our time, like some really ridiculous missions. There's a King Crab as well.
Oh, wow. We're also separating from our lance, so we'll have to watch that.
Yeah, we'll just wait for them to come back.
I'm going to try to deal with this partisan.
I'm with you.
acquired.
Target destroyed.
There's at least... Okay, that's where all the assassination targets are.
Go and have a couple of shots at that King Crab and see if you can lure him over here.
Target acquired.
Sure, I mean,
Okay.
they're engaging right now. Well, not all
Yeah,
of
so
them,
that-
some of them are. That's actually good for us. That means they're going to split
Yeah, we
apart.
wanted to drag them out. Yeah, that's what we want.
I'm going to take cover behind this mountain.
Yeah, they're all under it. I'm gonna hug the left side, I think, and try and get behind them. Because I don't think they're gonna look at me.
I'm going to order our guys to move forward.
Let's move.
Yeah, they're not interested. So we got, what is that? An awesome Banshee 3S, my favorite mech in the whole game, and a King Crab. I'm just gonna get behind whoever one's at the back and beat it up.
All right, I'm moving up.
Put our guys in that awesome, maybe.
Yeah, I'm on the awesome right now.
And I'm gonna go behind this King Crab.
We got the awesome.
Focus.
I'm going to put him on that Banshee.
Fire on target.
Okay, they're really starting to focus on me. We got a dropship coming in, so I'm just going to move into the base and take cover.
Target is about to go critical.
Bungie did. He was not interested in looking at me. He was literally not interested in me at all.
I mean, that works as for a melee type. That is great news.
I just...
They really want me right now, so I mean, my armor is pretty good, but I'm just gonna I'm just gonna continue baiting them if they're on me really bad.
I noticed that when I used the Basilisk last time, they literally just wanted me and nothing else.
Burn that target.
I mean, I can use that to my advantage. Like I said, my armor is in is in pretty serviceable condition. Not great, but serviceable.
Tango down.
Destroyed.
I'll tell you something about this. I really like this mech. Honestly, I really do, but I just don't like streak SRMs. I don't like that I can't choose where I'm shooting. It really annoys me.
It's really a You just wish you could fire them dumbfire as an option. That's
Yeah,
really
I
what
know.
it is. You just wish you could fire them dumbfire as an option.
Cargo acquired.
But they also lock onto a random component. They don't all
Yeah,
shoot
yeah,
the
that's
same
true. You
component.
can't control
That's so annoying. And like I understand, right? So if I just had like say 4 SRM2s on this, they do a little bit more damage, but they have a quite substantial lower fire rate. But That is completely countered by the fact that you can't fire every single missile on a single component, and you have to wait for the lock. So it's not really that better of a fire rate, because the fire rate's not all going on the same component. I just don't know. It might work for some people, but it just doesn't suit my playstyle, which is very aggressive and, you know, laying down a lot of lead.
Yeah, we keep trying them too. It's like I haven't given up on the Streak SRM. I try them every now and then, but it's like, I don't know. It's Streak SRM. That's really all I can say about it. It's Streak SRM. We got 3 million C-bills. That's pretty good. 71 salvage shares. This mission is paying out big money. Big money. I'll get that ERPPC. These tier 4 AC5 rapid fires. That's really medium pulse laser. What else do we got in here that's interesting? I'll grab these streaks just because people want. You know, people have been using streaks. I'll grab those. What happened?
I could cry not taking a Banshee 3S. Like, every single time I can salvage a Banshee 3S, I take it. And I will literally put every single... They're just... Oh, I know we can't use it, but my god, I love that mech. That thing is just
I kind of want that... Look at that awesome. That awesome is worth 18 million.
Yeah, take it. Take it. Forget about the Banshee. We want money.
Like, let me see if I can find a way to...
No, we can't even use the Banshee anyway. There's no point, honestly. We don't need it.
I'll take these. I'll take those. And then I guess I'll grab... We'll let the other 12 roll over.
Yep. Yeah, 100%.
So Pete asked, like, what about zombie content? I do it on Twitch. The thing is, there's just not a lot of interesting zombie games. So, like, I just can't play the same games for a million bajillion years. Like, I might do 7 Days to Die in the future, but, like, there just hasn't, you know, zombie games just aren't really, you know, I mean, they basically mobile games, like King Shot and stuff like that. It's like, that's basically what we got for zombie games. Maybe I'll do Dead Island. I'll revisit Dead Island or do Dead Island Riptide, but like there's just, you know, like the zombie meta is kind of over. There really aren't a lot of zombie games anymore.
No, certainly not amazing ones anyway. So this is a raid. I'm gonna keep the Archer 2S, I think, for the last mission.
Yeah, I'm gonna deploy in something that isn't slow. What else do I need to use?
But Bearman, you need to keep something for the
Oh, that's true. That's true.
Well, we have the Agent Court and the Archer 2F. Both of them are pretty nice for that sort of thing.
Yeah. I'll save something really nice for that.
I'm thinking, what is this? There's a raid.
I feel like I haven't used this Corsair LZ that you designed. Wait, and I also...
Yeah, it's interesting. That's kind of where I would leave that. Give it a go.
I mean, some of these we already know how they work. Like Moonraven's... have you used the new recustomized... Victor? I forget if we've used this Victor or not.
The 9A1?
Yeah, because remember I redesigned it a bit?
I don't remember. I'll tell you what, I have no idea. Now is the time.
It's Victor time. I'll use the Moonraven, the Victor, that one there, because like that one we already know that one works.
I really like the DS.
Let me bring some slow guys in, just because I don't want to bring slow guys in the next one.
No, I haven't used this since it has been upgraded. I remember this one now. This is one that was like a little bit light on armor, if I'm right in saying.
Yes, and so now it was retooled to have heavier armor.
Yeah, I never use this.
So let me, this is one of Delta Coyote's mechs, so let me go ahead and give it Delta's colors. All right, let's do this. Dara says, what about playing System Shock 2? I don't know anything about the series. I mean, that doesn't mean no, but like, I haven't even... Oh god, I'm under attack right off the bat. I'm in the loading screen still.
Proceed to the
Cheating.
and level the marked targets. Be warned. Enemy forces
Okay. Yeah, I like this.
alert.
So
Yeah, this is the one that had like different autocannons.
Yeah, I remember that.
Oh.
One.
Target acquired.
Real buddies.
Mutual employer sends their regards. We'll fight side by side until the enemy crumbles.
We still get bounty hunter intel for it. Not as much because he pays more for, yeah, like kills rather than...
Oh, by the way, you remember I was having a sound problem earlier in the stream? I changed the weapon groups during that mission and it went away. I have absolutely no idea what that fixed it, but it did. How bizarre.
I know I've had sound problems myself in this game, so it's not the first time I've heard of something like that.
But the fact that it got fixed by just changing my weapon groups, I'm not really sure what that even means.
Normally, I'd have to restart myself. All right, so we're coming up on the first
Target
objective.
acquired. New target enforcer.
This guy's a little bit more armored than I was expecting him. And I'm on the rifleman.
We're on it, Commander.
Oh, I forgot this thing had lower armor. I need to be careful.
Yeah, it's more armored, but it's still not full armor.
Yeah,
Target
you can
destroyed.
tell.
New target
Yeah, it's still not designed to like eat up a ton of gunfire, that's for sure.
No, it's definitely not.
Target acquired.
This mech is really good. Like this one, like this Dragon Slayer, this Moonraven Dragon Slayer it gets the job done. Very
It's a
easy,
very nice build.
very easy to use.
Target acquired.
And enjoyable as well.
Yes, yeah, very easy to use, gets the job done.
Target destroyed.
Fun weapons. Like really no complaints about it.
Target
No,
acquired.
it's actually quite a cool mech. The hard points in that mech actually. It was definitely made a lot better with the existence of the PPC as well.
Yeah, it also, like, you know, I said that the only good victor is the Basilisk. Maybe this will change my mind on that. Maybe both of the hero mechs are decent.
We're on your target, Commander. Target
Because this thing is cleaning house right now.
destroyed.
And honestly, this 981 isn't too bad either. I'm not sure about the lack of armor. It always makes me really nervous.
Yeah, it's just, unfortunately, there's just nothing else that, like, the only way to
Yeah.
get more armor was to remove one of the autocannons, because, like, I mean, I guess I could remove both of the small lasers just to get one more ton of armor. But yeah, we're basically
not
at the
worthwhile.
limit of what the design can do in terms of, because I don't think it has any heat sinks or anything.
Target destroyed.
Tank behind us, big one as well.
Acquired.
I keep thinking, I'm like, wait, what are you doing there? I keep like, what are you doing there? I'm like, what are you doing there? What are you doing? Then I realize these are all, they just dropped us a bunch of victors. Like, that's what the Thumpers just brought us a bunch of
New
victors.
target hunchback.
That's so wacky.
Target acquired.
Once again, it's just like the random nature of the game. Like the game, that's what keeps the game interesting, though. Like, and that's what you do not get in the previous MechWarrior games. You're not going to get that kind of just weird, like, what the hell is going on here?
Target destroyed.
And while, yes, I'll always say, sure, the other MechWarrior games are more handcrafted. Most of the time, I would say that probably doesn't matter. Like, a lot of clans missions, for example, they're just go to this area and clean house. Go to the next area, clean house. Go to the next area, clean house. So, like, sure, they're handcrafted, but, like, big deal. You're just going from one place to the next, cleaning house.
Target acquired.
And, like, you know, you do get some missions that are, like, a bit more in-depth. There's a bit more going on.
Missile.
But for the most part, it's like, you know, go to an area, beat the shit out of some guys. Go to an area, beat the shit out of some guys.
Target destroyed. Target acquired.
So, like, even the advantage of being handcrafted, I think that it has its limits. Like, there could be individually, you know, a really good, decent mission here and there. But it's not like every mission is like, wow, how interesting.
Scratch that target.
What a crazy mission. So handcrafted.
Showing, Commander. Our benefactor will be pleased with our
And being
success.
handcuffed is only good
Now
if
get
it's
back
done
to the
well.
top
If it's done
ship.
badly, it's not good at all. We got
behind
dropped
us.
it right on our tail.
We got the
Program
Thumpers with
with
us, so let's just beat them up,
Yeah.
because take the extra salvage.
What we getting? Dropped. Big stuff. Big thing. And a Raven.
target received.
Okay, let's just take, I'm gonna take this Raven out real fast.
Target destroyed.
And then we can knock out this idiot. I'm at the perfect range where I can use all my weapons.
Good kill, Commander. That mech is going critical.
Yeah, I mean, this mech I think is fine the way it is. Like, I don't think there's really anything that needs to be changed about it. It gets the job done. Dara says, how to train your victors. I mean, like I said, the two hero mechs are decent, especially with PPCX. Without PPCX, the DS, the Victor Dragon Slayer, might not be quite good enough. But with the PPCX, I think I think that really transformed the Victor Dragon Slayer into something pretty nice.
Really healthy amount of ammo in this mech as well.
Oh yeah, I'm always afraid of running out of ammo. With rapid fire, all of those kinds of weapons, I'm always worried of running out of ammo, especially AC.
I wasn't even close to running out of ammo.
It's like maybe it's possible I could drop a ton of ammo and just get another ton of armor. You know, there's probably some room for optimization, but you know, we're really scraping the bottom of the barrel with it.
Yeah, but that was
large laser.
Super intense mission either, so
that's also true. Pulse laser. And then we'll just take this awesome. And I'll roll 20 salvage over because I don't want to run the risk of us not getting a whole lot of salvage in the next one. All right, so this one is the Beachhead. And let's go ahead and this time I'll use the, you know, we haven't used the Agent Court in a long time, so I'm gonna send the Agent Court in. Throw all of these in the cold storage.
Okay, I'm gonna look at what is on the board. I need to redo the Victor Basilisk, by the way. I'm gonna bring the Archer 2S. I love the Archer 2S. This thing is freaky.
Oh, the
missile one.
Oh yeah, the big bang boom one.
That thing's freaky. I like it.
I'm gonna send them in. I don't want to send them in the Basilisk because like they'll get focus fired too much.
They don't really need to be in a fast thing. The artillery doesn't really attack them anyway.
That's true. I'll send them in the 2 King Crabs.
Nice.
In we go. Yeah, it's funny. It's like they actually chose some pretty good mechs this time around. So like the Archers really performed well. It's like one of the better mechs that we got in this series. Okay, this map doesn't look too bad. You know what? I think would actually really help this game is if maybe if huge maps just didn't exist except in specific story missions. I mean, is there much value to a huge map?
Not really.
That's kind of how I feel.
I mean,
about it, but...
none of the weapons fire outside of like, yeah, there's artilleries over here. I'm gonna go over here and destroy these artilleries before they wake up.
And even if there was, like, there's typically hills or there's mountains in the way or something. Like, you know, how often do you get like 3 kilometers of open field? I mean, it happens every now and then.
Very, very rarely. I knew there was going to be artillery here. I could smell it a mile away.
Yeah, you found that really. I would have completely missed this stuff. Oh, they're on me right now.
New target, Commando.
Another light mech on its way as well.
Group target received.
Artillery emplacement destroyed.
Oh, behind us, there's a bunch of mechs for some reason.
Target is about to go critical.
Where did they come from? That's where we just spawned in at.
Yeah, I don't know what they're doing over there, but they're focusing on me, so I'm gonna take cover real fast.
Target received. Engaging.
Like, I'm at 600 meters and just dumb firing SRMs. I was like, you can't do that with the Strix. That bores me.
Yeah, there's definitely... I mean, it's one of those things where you stop using Streak SRM and you're like, why don't I use this weapon? Let me try using it again. And then you start using it again, and then you're like, oh, that's why I don't use this weapon. Like I said, I keep trying to use it. I keep trying to like it.
And it doesn't
But
help
yeah,
that
I did the exact same
SRM2 as
thing.
well.
Like I fired some SRMs out of range and just kind of arced the shots on them, and yeah, you wouldn't be able to do that without. Wouldn't be able to do that normally.
That's one set done.
You know, I know the clans are all about, whoa, we're way faster than Inner Sphere mechs, but I find 64 kilometers, I'm very used to it. Like, 64 kilometers is very comfortable feeling to me.
Yeah.
To the point that when I was using the Night Geyer in clans, which was one of their 64 kilometer mechs, and the Rifleman 2C, I felt very comfortable with both of those mechs.
You've reached the target facility. Wipe out their defenses.
Target destroyed.
Damn, there's even more of them over here. There's more artillery cannons.
Artillery garrison destroyed.
Yeah, that's the last set then.
Target destroyed. Target acquired.
These Artemis missiles are really nice for just cleaning up some of them because, like, it's got such good accuracy compared to your typical missile. Like, very good at just... Why can't I... Sometimes it doesn't let you step on these artillery cannons. Like, right here, it's just like...
Yeah, you let you walk over them, it's so stupid.
Target acquired.
Oh, we triggered the base.
Destroyed.
I figured that was probably going to happen. Also, you never have to worry about them missing those helicopters, or very rarely would it happen. Like that extra tracking. Like Artemis, if you're wondering, is Artemis worth it for LRMs? Yes. The extra tracking is a huge, huge deal.
Target acquired.
Looks like the defenders are really not that impressive. I see mainly light mechs. I saw one hunchback in there. I don't know what the fourth one is.
Target acquired.
Might even be a tank or something.
Radar dish down.
We're on it, Commander.
Were we expecting mercenaries in this?
I did not check the value, so I don't actually know.
Target Panther. Target destroyed. Target acquired.
It's like when you go back to using like more meta mechs, it's like crazy the difference in power.
Target down.
Target destroyed.
Like we're just like rolling. I mean, we're destroying a bunch of light mechs, so I'm not gonna like pat ourselves on the back too much, but we're still like rolling through these guys right now.
Enemy forces have
Target
destroyed our
destroyed.
defenses.
Target acquired.
In the area, confront and eliminate.
Target destroyed.
Capture zone is clear. Move in.
No, it's
Keep
not.
the base clear of any additional hostiles while we take control. We've made a wee impression on these folk. Enemy aircraft inbound. They know what we're up to, and they're going to want to stop this invasion before it starts. Hold this position.
Like this mech is so good. The Archer Agent Corps is goated.
Yeah, it's a crazy good mech.
Target destroyed.
We have a new objective, Commander. Destroy all additional artillery. Guess there was more enemy
Okay, we've
artillery
got
than
a
before. Watch out.
we got some stuff coming in, but I think I'll intercept it. Looks like you're working on the Looks like you're working on the radio dishes right now, so I'll deal with these guys.
Target destroyed.
If you find the acquisition, just walk
Just a
up to it
bunch
in
of
order
just
to pick
shitty
it
enemies
up.
everywhere. I'm trying to thin them all out, but God,
Destroyed.
it's like leave me alone.
We'll go. Focusing fire.
It's like shitty enemies everywhere. Billions must die.
Target acquired.
Scratch that one.
Target destroyed. Target acquired.
Another one of these
Target
guys.
identified.
Yeah, these Artemis LRMs are just doing the work right now. Like I have destroyed so many vehicles and so many turrets with them. I'm just like sweeping the battlefield clean of all these just annoying targets.
Target acquired. Target destroyed.
Enemy mech down.
New target spike.
Coordinating on target.
How many LRMs do I have left? I still got a decent bit left, but oh, I found more artillery cannons in the corner.
Target destroyed.
One have found the
All right, I'm gonna
targeted
move in and knock
assets
out these
vehicle
artillery
to it,
cannons
and we'll begin
because
the recovery
I guess I'm in the
procedure.
area for it.
Enemy radar dish destroyed.
Are we, oh, did you knock out the radar? Are we getting our
Yeah.
reinforcements?
Has
Okay.
been disabled.
Normally, this would not be the efficient way to do this mission, but it kind of doesn't matter. Like, we're just clearing through these guys.
There's a dropship on the base. No, it's literally just 2 light mechs. Okay, I'm gonna head that way and start capturing, I think.
Oh yeah, I'm closing in on the artillery cannons. And then behind us, we got some... I'll tell our guys to turn around and fight those guys while I deal with this.
Alpha 1-1, this is Whiskey 6-1. Thanks for clearing out that AA installation.
People always ask me, like, what do you do with your AI in this game? Honestly, you really can't do a lot. The AI is not great. But the best you can do is just tell them to attack something, usually.
Yeah,
Try to-
they've got
try
a
to keep them on
command
task.
them.
Target destroyed.
Alright, that's the end of these artillery cannons. I don't know if there's
There's a
anything
commando
more.
coming to you guys.
Group target acknowledged.
Yeah, see, like, I have them technically separated from me, but that's because you just give them something to shoot at for the most part, and it's good.
Right, I'm gonna capture. No, dropship
Who's
on me, of
dropship?
course there would be.
Yeah, that's their dropship.
Target
Oh, of
acquired.
course there would be.
What did they give us? A battle match. That's pretty nice. A rifleman, a warhammer, and a Jaeger mag. That's not bad stuff.
Target acquired.
Focus engagement on Leech target.
It's pretty decent. Okay, it looks like the enemies are coming after us, so we're just going to take these guys out real fast.
Target destroyed.
This guy's out of here.
Target acquired.
This guy's out of here. Like, this archer just puts people in the dirt. Like, it's not even right. It's like, why you do that to that man, Fox? Like, why you laying people out like that? This archer just does not care.
Target acquired.
That's why I don't use it that much, though, because it's like, okay, oh, how good is the archer agent court? I mean, a lot of people know that the agent court is fantastic. In fact, the archer is probably the MVP of this series. The archer has been really good in general.
Yeah, it has.
Like, I never disliked the archer, but let me tell you, this playthrough where we've been forced to use all of the archer models has definitely made me appreciate the archer even more. And now I understand a lot of the more nuanced reasons of why I might prefer the archer over other mechs as well. Like, yeah, I can tell you exactly one of the reasons why I like the archer over the catapult is just having hands. Being able to punch things, that actually is a really big deal.
Target destroyed.
Okay, this guy's out. Now for the Cyclops. Oh, his leg is destroyed. Let me knock his leg out. Oh, somebody got his... That Cyclops did not stand a chance. He's just out of here.
I went straight for his legs.
Target destroyed.
And there's a tank somewhere to the north.
Yeah, I saw it
That's
got... okay.
There
Let
he's
me
there.
just launch a few missiles at him. Hopefully that hits. That hit.
Yep.
Even with me losing Lonk at the very end.
Yeah. Nice one.
That's what you gotta love about those Artemis, though. They've got that extra track. That's what the Artemis system does. The Artemis system improves the missiles are able to fly together in a tighter formation. Like, it's just it's a better radar system, essentially.
I'm pretty sure that was a Cyclops 11P as well. It's another sensational mech, by the way.
Yeah. Like, none of the archers have been bad, but yeah, like compared to the catapult, just having hands to punch people with, that's
Well,
like a really big deal. Like,
It
that makes
is.
a big difference. So let me see. I kind of want these AC5 rapid fires. Let me just grab them temporarily, but we're definitely gonna bag some of these mechs for some big money sales. Not a lot of Lost Tech. I do see a Streak SRM. We're going to grab that just in case people want more. They request more Streak builds. We don't need this Commando. I don't think we need any of these mechs. So we'll just go down the list and grab some stuff. And one of these weapons. Bam. Those multi-ops pay out really big. Yeah, so I destroyed 6 turrets and 11 vehicles, 8 air units. I destroyed an absolute ton of just miscellaneous enemies, just shooting them down. And then also a bunch of small mechs, too. Like, I destroyed 9 mechs in total just due to, like, squishing a whole bunch of small mechs. Like, the Archer just really good at just general-purpose combat. Really or rather, the Archer Agent Corps in particular, just they really... There's no other way to say it. The Archer Agent Corps is goated. Also, this Charger should be worth a lot of money. Let me see how much money we get for this Charger. The big engine on the Charger should pay some money. Yeah, look at that. 3 million C-bills for the Charger, and that's all because of that really big engine. You know, the Charger might not be a very effective mech. At least the 1A one is not a very effective mech, but the big-ass engine means it's actually worth a lot of money. So you definitely want to pick up those Chargers usually in order to make some money on it. Overall, though, we are at, what time is it? It is 6:05, so I think that's about all the time we've got for today. We typically play 4 to 6, so I think that's pretty good. We tried more of your guys' mechs. Let me see which mech designs you guys requested that we play. And we played, so yeah, Plant Masters Shadowhawk 2P, we played that. Moonraven's Shadowhawk 5M, we played it. Chubby Demons Grasshopper 5M, we played it. Corgi's Recustomized Corsair XT1, we played it. And Dara's King Crab Kaiju. I need to try that one, but it did get used at least once, so we will use more of your builds. If you would like me to use one of your builds, I will do it. And if you want to then join the Discord, look in the chat down there. You will see it. All you got to do is click that link, and that'll bring you, or paste it into your Discord. Go to the city gates up top. Go to Verify Enrolls. Click this one once. It's the first post. Just click it one time. That'll let you participate, and then in the entertainment district down by MW5 viewer builds, you can submit your build here. The only catch is that it can't be a modded build. Like, I can't use like modded equipment. It has to be stuff in the base game and the DLC, and it needs to be one of the mechs that was voted for in the game, which if you go to the pinned comments up in the top right, the first of the pins, the oldest pin, are the mechs that were voted for. If it follows those pretty simple rules, you just post it here with a screenshot of the build and the color scheme, if you have a particular color scheme you want, and then I will build it if I currently own the mech and I have the weapons to do it, and I'll use it on the next episode. Afterwards, after I use it and the sheriff uses it, we will recustomize it and we will retool it into something a little different. Sometimes we don't change it very much at all. Sometimes it remains very similar to how it originally looked, but that will be how it works. Anyways, let me show you guys the schedule before I get out of here, because we are almost at the end of the week. Schedule time. So the schedule for this week, today is Friday the 30th. We played a MechWarrior 5 Solaris Showdown. Tomorrow, the 31st, Saturday, I am going to try to beat Doom the Dark Ages. I only got like 3, maybe 4 levels left, and I really want to get through Doom because we got more games coming out in June that I'm going to be playing on Twitch. Remember the rules. If it's a mech game, then it's going to get played on YouTube. If it's not a mech game, it's going to get played on Twitch. If you don't like Twitch and you prefer to watch stuff on YouTube, I do upload them to my second YouTube channel, which is basically a Twitch VODs channel. And yeah, that is what will be happening. I typically do not stream on Sundays because Sundays is typically when I plot my next streams and find out what days the sheriff has available, what's going on for me. Sunday is usually my planning day, but we'll see. Anyways, I think that's good enough for today. As usual, thanks for being such a great audience, and I will see you guys another time. So this is the end of the show. Fox and the Sheriff are dipping out. So deuces, everyone, and remember that you don't have to be good to get good.